The following live stream has been approved for appropriate audiences. It may contain occasional strong language and may not be suitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer inebriation is advised, though not mandatory.
Good evening, happy Friday, and welcome back to Last Call, where tonight we have a very special guest bartender. Very special indeed. An organizational psychologist, media personality, and TV commentator with an award-winning talk radio TV show called Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa Pei. We'll get you all the details on how you can check out her show every morning and where to pick up her book, 8 Ways to Happiness, from wherever you are. And isn't that on brand for Last Call, Ways to Get Happy? Speaking of which, get comfortable, top off your glasses, and tell me what you're sipping on in the chat, and we'll get this Canarble wagon rolling right now. Salud! Welcome everybody. I myself am sipping on you can see it over my shoulder, not a sponsored stream, by the way, Glenfiddich. It's a 15-year single malt. When I was looking at the price tags, it was a $20 difference between a 14-year and a 15-year, and I said, is that one more year in the barrel really worth it? And that is like, you're worth it. And I'm like, you are so sweet. So we got the 15. So that's tonight. And tonight is a special one. And but I first, before we bring in our guest, I want to say hi to all of you special people in the chat, starting with PJ of Orville Nation. He's probably not here any longer. I knew he wouldn't be able to hold out. He's overseas, so the time difference and everything. I'm sure he probably fell out, but he's got a lot of neat comments here, shared out, and I can't see what he's sharing in the studio, but he's blue smiling, blue face. He's awesome. He is such a cheerleader. And of course, Maria, who I was just hanging out with. Make sure you check out the the Smelly Alien or whatever that sketch was that we did over on her channel. It was a hoot. Absolutely, you need to check that out. Lady Mist, our hostess with the mostest, you're going to be pulling double duty tonight, my dear. You're going to have to be the bouncer as well. Netter is not with us tonight, so you just keep everybody in line tonight, will ya? Although she's potentially having some computer problems, so I'm going to count on all the rest of you guys on staff with blue wrenches to keep an eye, just in case we get some riffraff. That happens. Speaking of riffraff, Big Al of Big Al Presents be hanging out with him tomorrow night for a rewatch of The Lion in Winter. Good evening, everyone. Hope you have a wonderful stream, my friends. It's good to see you here. There's that derelict Last Call with Troy Pacelli, but yep, he's here too. Let's see here. I know I saw him. There's deleted scenes. Good to see you, my friend. Salute. And Matt Inouye. Awesome to see you, my friend. David Pensack. Saying hi to all of us. You are so encouraging. Connie Cleary. Good to see you. And I think we're getting caught up. Dr. Omega was just hanging out with you a little while ago over on Marie's stream. Good to see you, my friend. Index 6. Sorry I can't stay longer. I'll be back next Friday. Good man. My man at arms. See you next week. I super appreciate you stopping by and hitting that thumbs up. And Echo Bully, hello. Welcome. Jesse Guajardo, welcome. And, of course, Dr. Marissa Pei saying hello and happiest holidays ever to you all. Well, I think on that note, let us bring her in. Dr. Marissa, how are you? And, I'm so sorry, I left Aged Boomer out. Let's bring him in here. Everybody knows Aged Boomer. Aged Boomer, I'm sorry. What are you sipping on, my friend?
Oh, just got a water here, but I'm doing great. But no, focus on your guest tonight. That's yeah,
Fair.
Thank you, though.
You still got to be here to make sure I get home safely.
I'll
right?
make sure you get home safely. I'm saying hi to the chat.
And Dr. Marissa, how are you? And what are you sipping on?
Happy everything. I am happy, and I'm so delighted to be here. And turnabout is fair play. You were my guest.
That's true. Exactly.
Straight talk, and so now I get to.
A lot of these folks were there for that too, and if they weren't, they came by later. So
fantastic. I am 15 years, almost 15 years. So this is a very good naturally high drink. It is red grape sparkling that a friend left for me.
Wow.
And, yeah, sparkling water. I believe it's lime. And then aloe, the aloe drink, I think it's okay. And it's sugar-free aloe. So this is
wow.
Drink. And your drink is actually what I used to imbibe on. Not necessarily, Glenfiddich was one, but I was a huge single malt drinker. So you can drink for me. But I'm naturally high and enjoying.
I know you are. You are, as your brand says, you are happy 88% of the time. Am I right? Did I quote that correctly?
Yes, you did.
And
okay,
first time I heard it, I said 88% of the time. That seems pretty fair, because if you're happy 100% of the time, you're probably doing something, that's a controlled substance, I'm guessing.
No, you're actually dead. Even on controlled substances,
there you go. You're not living, right? You're not living. You're not engaged in life.
Contrast to know that you're happy. So very few people are 99% happy. But I say 88% because I know you thought I was Swedish, but I'm actually Chinese. And 8 is a lucky number. In Chinese, it's a homophone for good fortune. So fa is 8 and fa is good fortune. So 88% of the time, I'm also a recovering perfectionist. So 88% is a good number because it's almost always, but it gives you time to not be happy. So 12% of the time, I'm not.
I get that. And see, I myself am a recovering Catholic. I flinch every time someone hands me a ruler. No, grew up Italian Catholic, so yeah, I have some flashes there. So I know that all of my chat is at least they know you. They know of you. I've been talking about you for a while now, but for those that come that haven't heard yet, that come check us out in the future. 20,000 foot overview. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okie dokie. I am an organizational psychologist by education. So my PhD, which just stands for piled higher and deeper, is in organizational psych, which is a cross between business and psychology. So I study and work and facilitate with the companies and organizations who get to see human dynamics at work. Power, politics, miscommunication, prejudice, not valuing diversity, leadership, anything that has to do with people at work. And there actually is one organization that has no problems at all. And everybody always wants to know which client that is. And that is the cemetery, where you have no people, you have no problems. But I get to work with companies on that. I parlayed that into a teaching experience. So I was a graduate professor for 10 years, Boston University, UCLA, and the MBA school. And then one of my students came to me after class and said, your talents are being wasted. My father's a producer director. He does specials. Would you like to be on camera to do expert commentary? And I'm so shy. Sarcasm is
yes, I have the same problem. We're working through it, aren't we?
So I said yes, and that began the media career. And then I woke up one morning with the voice saying radio. And I'm like, radio? But I had to listen to that voice. That's the same voice that told me to write. And that was a result of losing a $200,000 consulting project, but it ended up being a best-selling book. So that voice, wherever it's coming from, is the one that I call my UPS man, my universal power source. He delivers every morning when I pray and meditate. And so I just followed that direction, and 604 consecutive weeks and 1,073 podcast shows later, we are now everywhere. And my brand is happiness. The book is called Airwaves to Happiness, and I'm the luckiest girl in the world because I get to have a platform, motivational speaking all over the world, and talk about happiness and hope, and that's sort of me.
And speaking of that, tell them about your splatter zone. Tell them about all the places where they can find you.
So, someone just...
You can do your whole intro if you have to.
It's taped, so I don't even know if I remember how to do it. But,
yeah, okay, good point.
But, the name of the show is Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. I'm on NBC News Radio, KCAA AM 1050, FM 106.5, streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, TV Live, Podchaser, Spreaker, and more. I would love it if you joined. Now, more than 2,000 subscribers, which if it weren't for Orville Nation, I wouldn't.
Maria,
I really care
Dr.
about
Omega,
numbers.
yeah.
I really am Kevin Costner, Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. And I don't like even talking about numbers because it's not a really accurate way of seeing if you are effective or not. And I've coached you on that. It's people buy numbers and all of that. So
true.
I just do what I do. I love what I do. I know I'm here to do this. I am not a psychologist telling you how to be happy because I'm one of the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma. And when I began looking at that's 7 out of 10, we're the majority. If we're the majority, why do we think there's something wrong with us? Why do we think that we are, never going to catch up, or we need to be fixed and all of that? So the book, the message, all of it is as a person who has recognized that going through pain, you get power. So, pain in life is mandatory, suffering is optional, and that is what I get to do everywhere. And
in a way, it's kind of like that other 12%. You kind of need that, otherwise the 88% happy isn't as meaningful, right?
Yes. And who is without pain? I mean,
exactly.
We all went through the pandemic. I call it PTSD, post-pandemic stress disorder, that we are now coming out of. But most of us have had some kind of pain in our upbringing, in our childhood, in that first, 10 years where, it wasn't fair. And I know I used to be a happy drunk with my single malt scotch until I was no longer happy, and I was crying all the time and angry at the people that hurt me. And I could live like that for the rest of my life. But I know that life is so amazingly precious and such a joyride that I want to have you drink my Kool-Aid to know that life does not suck. And that is my job.
I don't know if you saw this, but Dr. Omega is saying, not used to seeing you on the right side of the screen, Dr. Marissa.
You're right. I'm not used to seeing me quite this wide either. I usually do close shots, but I'm happy to be. It is kind of weird. You're right.
Well,
sorry, I have to say this because Dr. Omega, we were just together because I went to support Maria
and Elan, right.
You want to talk about weird is being in the chat. Because if I'm trying to read the chat or whatever, and I was not a big chatter because it is a lot more work.
It is
than talking on the show. So Dr. Omega, that's the truly weird thing.
Yeah.
kind of fun because I could talk about like whatever I want. So
yeah, that's true.
I do have the cleavage that I.
Yes, we were joking about the cleavage over
not
the
as
other.
much cleavage as those young ladies showed, I will say.
Well, yeah, and I was, I was afraid where that joke was going to go because I was going to be like Alon going back to June of '94 or something. It's like no. But yeah, and speaking of being in the chat, you give me a lot of grief about my my typos and my spoonerisms and my malapropisms. But what you don't realize is that usually in the morning during your show, I am also working. So my hands are not free. So I have engaged a type to chat. And computers just are, they say artificial intelligence, they are not intelligent. Computers have artificial idiocy. And honestly, it puts in wrong words all the time. I keep telling it, it's never going to be a duck. But there was the one that was so funny, and I was talking with Alon about it after the previous stream. I had said that Netter and I would continue to pray for her mom. And it came up pray, P-R-E-Y. I think my chat probably knows why the autocorrect would make it P-R-E-Y, because I do a lot of talk about sci-fi, the Klingons, the bird of prey, P-R-E-Y. And I'm like, no, that's not what I meant this time, you stupid computer. But you can't hear me saying that. Anyway, you get a good laugh out of it. Still good content. I don't mind. You can pick on me all you want. But
it's funny. It ends up being quite funny. So, and laughter is my favorite sound in the entire world. So,
you know, and when I was younger, I don't hear it so much anymore. Well, maybe I do sometimes from people in streams and whatnot. They said I should bottle my laughter because I just have a boisterous laugh. I love to laugh, you know, like the uncle in Mary Poppins. I love to laugh. I am. And maybe that comes with having a few extra pounds. You know, I'm jolly, you know. White whiskers now these days, too. That's very seasonal. So your show is, okay, so you are on the left coast over there in California. So that is Pacific time?
Pacific time.
Okay, and so if I'm at 11 o'clock here, it's 11:10, 9 o'clock your time. So 9 o'clock every morning, well, every weekday morning, folks.
Yes.
But you know what? If you're not over there in California to listen to her right there on the radio, you can listen on the internet. But what I'm recommending everyone do, please, the link is down below, and I'm sure my Blue Wrenches will share it out. If you haven't already, and I know many of you already have, please go ahead and subscribe to Dr. Marissa's YouTube channel, because then not only can you hear her, but you can see her lovely face, and you can see the great smile of her guests. It's absolutely worthwhile. I was a guest on her channel a couple weeks ago. So, and I know a lot of you guys stopped by and said hi and hit the thumbs up.
Yes, Dr. Omega's name I definitely see, and I'm trying to not use these glasses because it gives away.
That's okay.
I'm not ageless anymore, but I am happy to see everybody. And if you go on the Maria's here. If you do go on the YouTube channel and pre-subscribe, you can also get access to my Red Carpet playlist. I have Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, all the Temptations, Lieutenant Uhura.
Yeah, Michelle Nichols, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Your opening every morning has a lot of like some of your great hits. I don't know if I haven't had a chance to get back to your whole playlist. You have a lot of videos up there for me to check out, but you have interviewed Dawn Wells, who played Marianne from Gilligan's Island. Several people from Happy Days, including, and everybody knows to go and support Donnie Most over on Heritage. hit the like button for him. He's already at number 6. We've done a great job, guys. But every Monday, I'll share that with you on my community tab, so you can go and vote for him. Donnie Most, who played Ralph Mouth, Anson Williams, who played Potsy, and the one that impresses me is Marion Ross. Do you remember when we would watch, and I have some younger viewers here, so they don't remember what TV was like back in the 60s and 70s and maybe a little bit into the 80s, where things were recorded before a live studio audience, right? And they would perform to an audience, and there was no laugh track. That was people actually laughing at the jokes live. And it was like watching a stage play. And I don't know. I have to guess that Marion Ross had a great stage career before. God bless you, Boomer. Must have had a great stage performance history before she got into television, because she just has that presence about her. And when she would come in, the audience would just clap. And she literally had to wait until they finished clapping for her. Sometimes she had to break character and thank the audience before the performance could go on. And so I then see you interviewing her, and she says, "Dr. Marissa, it is such an honor for me to get to talk with you." And I'm like, that woman that I admired so much, who got all the claps in Happy Days, she's honored to meet this one. You know?
She came to my studio when it was at Sunset Gower Studios. That's when I was on once a week. And during COVID, I got promoted to the morning show, which is 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Which I said yes before I realized that 1 to 5 is quite the big jump.
Yeah.
But when I'll never forget, she came in, she was 89 years young, and just beautiful inside and out. She cannot believe I'm not an actress. She cannot believe that I'm not a comedian. She called me a wonderment. And then, to my absolute honor, she agreed to come on again. And this was just last year, when she was 92 or 93. I'll have to go back and look. But she just turned another, and her son as well, Jim Meskimen, came on. And, you can tell she's definitely feeling her age, sure, but she's so amazing. And how blessed am I? And Donnie Most, another huge compliment. His wife, Morgan, yes, just amazing. If you haven't watched that interview, I asked Donnie if Morgan would come on with him, because I love talking to successful, happy couples and how they, their marriage and hashtag relationship goals. And Dawn said, no, she's only done one interview, and after that she doesn't want to do it. She has Parkinson's. Yeah. And my Chinese mom has Parkinson's, and he's like, no, she doesn't. Well, she watched my interview with Donnie, and he reached out to Harlan, the publicist, who told me she's agreed to come on your show based on your interview with Dawn. So that is, I consider that one of the top 3, along with Marion's, compliments for my show and what I get to do on that platform. So.
Man, yeah, that is absolutely amazing. Yeah. And Dr. Omega was talking about the recording in front of a live studio audience. I saw a live taping of Doctor with Matt Fuhrer. Yeah, I love him. He's awesome. They would record each scene 3 times, and he'd ad-lib the jokes for 2 of them. His car was in the parking lot, license plate, quick wit. Yes, indeed. In fact, I was joking about the Carol Burnett show. And Carol Burnett show used to film the same show twice in front of 2 different audiences, and they would edit together how they wanted to, but it was very clear they were improvising as they were going, and that was what really made the show so much fun. Maria, I would love it if you decide to keep the Carol Burnett spirit alive on your channel. I'll be back every single time, no doubt about it. But
I had Lucille Ball's daughter as a guest in the studio as well. I did reach out to Carol Burnett when she was performing at the Saban, but it ended up being canceled, so that didn't happen. But I honest to goodness, have had so many amazing, like Jerry from Leave It to Beaver, Jerry Mathers, Corey Feldman.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to forget somebody, so I can't even really go down there. So here's what I'm going to do. Anyone who free subscribes to my YouTube channel will get a free audio book version of this Self-Help on Steroids.
Yeah.
That, it has exercises in there. It's a great holiday gift if you want one that is signed by me. The best thing is part donations go to Habitat for Humanity, and the rest of it goes to my own nonprofit, which is 8 Ways to Happiness for kids, teens, and young adults who have temporarily forgotten their birthright to happiness. But if you just free subscribe, honor system, go to drmarissa.life and say, I subscribed, I will send you a link to get a free audiobook version of this book. So you can, really be 88% happy. That's my wish. That's my holiday wish.
Let me real quick. I will just drop that link in the chat. So what you're going to do, folks, is you're going to go to the channel. You're going to the web page. Scroll about halfway down, and there's an email. You put in your email. Get on her. You're basically just sending Dr. Marissa an email, and she'll know.
Don't worry, I forget to send emails out. I do everything manually. I have people contact me and say, I haven't gotten an email. I haven't gotten I call them happy zines. Zines. Yeah. I haven't got one. Did I fall off your list? And so you don't have to worry about me, polluting your emails. Honest to goodness, if I get one out every quarter, I'm lucky because I do everything myself.
But yeah, go to her webpage that I just dropped the link there. Get on her email list. She'll send you that. That download. Absolutely.
Big Al has subscribed.
Oh,
Big Al has. There you go. Thanks. Thank you so much, Big Al. You are awesome. Talk about a happy person. Big Al is a happy person. Good. Talk about positivity. He does a channel on YouTube where he does reviews of movies.
Right.
And sometimes he feels that for some of the movies, they don't require a big, long to-do, so he does a 10-word review. And he always finds a way to be positive, even if he's not recommending the movie. He finds a way to be positive about it. I like that.
Especially
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, especially in a lot of these fan communities, there's a lot of anger, of course, and Troy and I get heated sometimes too.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, sometimes you when you're a fan of something and they make something you don't like, you can have some strong feelings about it. But we always do try to keep it positive.
Right.
Age of Boomer has a geeky news show on Sundays where I'm his guest. And we always start it with the good old days. And we talk about an old TV show that we used to like, or games or toys we used to play as kids. Because like I said, we're a little bit older. Some of the younger folks might not know about some of this stuff. And every now and again, someone will say, oh, yeah, I went and I checked out that TV show you were talking about. That was pretty good. These days, with all the streaming and stuff, you can catch up on, a show.
Yes.
You want to see Happy Days? Go check out Happy Days. You can watch all, 10 seasons or whatever it was?
I had Charlotte Ray on from Full House, I believe. She was on there. I've had, Little House on the Prairie, Allison Ingram. Nellie. Yeah. I've had the whole cast, actually. Most of the cast from Little House on the Prairie. They did a thing.
Did you meet Charlotte Stewart, who played the school teacher on the show?
Yes, I believe she was on. Yeah, I'm horrible with names, which is not good for me.
That's fine. Yeah. Well, I tell you, I've said this on my stream so many times. I get confused sometimes because a lot of celebrities, I either know their real names and I forget which one is their real name and which one is their character?
Yeah.
And with Charlotte Stewart, Nanette and I met her up in Washington State. We've had lunch with her a couple times. And I'm doing a stream about Twin Peaks, which she was on. And I go to talk about her character, and I'll say, Charlotte, wait a minute. No. What's the name of her character in the show? And actually, I'm forgetting now. Mrs. Briggs. Betty Briggs, I think, is her character. See what I mean? I can't keep it straight.
Yeah.
That's why I call Agent Boomer, because otherwise, I might dox him, and I don't want to do that.
It's fun.
Yeah. I've had, remember Tony, Captain and Tennille?
Yeah, Tony Tennille?
Michael Jackson's nephew, Jafar. Dr. Pat Allen, Janine Roth, who was Oprah's diet coach, Kathy Garver from The Family. Let's see, Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with God, mega best-selling author. The dolphin activist Rick O'Berry, who watched The Cove. If you haven't watched it, I would love to see your review on that one. Carrie Kasem, who was Casey Kasem's daughter, Top 40 Radio.
This community had a really rough time when Casey Kasem passed.
Oh, really?
Because not only, well, of course, you know him from music and radio and so forth. A lot of the people in my community, we all knew him as a voice actor for some of our favorite cartoon characters.
Oh.
And he was the voice of, this is wild. I'm going to get teary.
Aww.
He was the voice of Batman and Robin. He did the voice of Robin for the Super Friends. And someone shared on social media when he passed, the entire group of the Super Friends raising a glass to Casey, to Casey, to Casey, and Robin's at the end, and his word bubble's empty.
Oh, wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Hot Lips Houlihan from MASH.
Yeah. Loretta Swit, I believe, right?
Yes, Loretta Swit.
Yeah, E.T.'s mom, Dee Wallace. She's been on several times.
Yeah.
Talk about great documentaries. If you haven't seen Matt Embry's show, The Hope, he has, let's see, I'm going to have to look in here. Multiple sclerosis, the award-winning documentary called Living Proof. Did you watch that, David Boomer?
I don't think I saw that one.
Okay. So, I know you're something Boomer. I just called you
Agent Boomer, yeah.
Agent Boomer, okay. I'd be interested if you watched that and reviewed that.
Sure.
Yeah, he's really good. Layla Ali's a friend of mine. She's the daughter of Muhammad Ali. She's been on several times.
She's actually a really good boxer, too. I've seen her.
Undefeated.
Yep.
Hello. And these are ones that you should watch. If you're, there's a lot of interviews, but I'm just saying, if you like any of these people, Don Miguel, who, if you haven't read the book, The Four Agreements, phenomenal, foundation book. Let's see who else here. Arturo Sandoval. He escaped from Cuba, and he is a musician who is really amazing. So I'm just touching the tip of this, but there's the Eddie Munster, Butch Patrick,
right.
Yeah, and then in memoriam, there's quite a few who have not they're not back. I mean, they're not dead; they're just here on the other side now. But yeah, I mean, it's been really great. If you go on my if you go on my website and look at the red carpet, I've been very fortunate to have interviewed some pretty, and I think one of the reasons why is because I'm not, my middle name is like No Fear, because half the time I don't even know what they're on. My camera guys are just amazed at how stupid I am sometimes. Because they'll say, like, are you not going to interview her? I'm like, who's that? Lisa Vanderpump. Who's that? Who's that? And that is. But Lieutenant Uhura's interview was really funny. I got her twice. Who else did I get twice? I got Righteous Brothers on the carpet singing.
Tell them about William Shatner.
Oh yes. That's a really funny one. There's a story behind that, actually.
Actually, Boomer, you just saw William Shatner recently,
he's
right?
on tour in the country right now. I got to see him doing a live performance for the audience. It was very good, yeah.
Yes. I'm one of the sponsors for the 7th year of the Newport Beach Film Festival Chinese Spotlight Film. And this year they gave the award, the Lifetime Achievement Award, to him. Excellent. Now, 7 years ago, I actually followed him on stage speaking for Wells Fargo. So motivational speaking is another thing I get to do. And he was the keynote. I was the least known. The other one was Maria Shriver's brother. And one of the best compliments I got is that everybody's talking about me and not necessarily Mark or William Shatner. Obviously, they're not. I don't want to. He was doing a little more imbibing than he is now. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, his talk. When I saw him at the film festival, he said he remembered me, but I think he was just being nice. But he looks working amazing, and I love what his message is now. Like what he was talking about before. Didn't really understand it, but now he's talking about not wanting to die, how much of life there still is to enjoy, very aligned with everything that I believe in and would like to share the message for. So when I met him again, do I have that picture? Do you have that picture? So it's funny. I got him to flash.
I didn't have it ready. Real quick, I did want to comment on Dr. Omega again. I was surprised that Melissa Gilbert had been married to Bruce Boxleitner and was the president of SAG for years. So I have a little story about that. Bruce Boxleitner also, not only was he in Tron, he played Captain
Sheridan.
Thank you, Captain Sheridan in
Babylon 5.
Babylon 5. I almost said Battlestar Galactica. Babylon 5, and I was working at a convention that he was a guest at. I was actually on his security duty. And Dr. Marissa, you talk about not knowing someone or not knowing their name or whatever. I couldn't remember his name. And I'm going, can someone tell me how I can find, what's his name? Mr. Melissa Gilbert. And his manager heard me and said, don't let him hear you say that. I'm like, oh, okay. But that's kind of how I thought of him, because I was, there you go, yes.
Yeah. Doesn't he look great? 92.
He can still move.
He's amazing.
People were complimenting him from the crowd. They were like saying, have you ever considered being a stand-up comedian? You're great. And he says, stand-up, I want to be a sit-down comedian. That's what he said.
Yeah, right. I want to be a sit-down comedian.
Despite his protestations, I think he's in great shape for his age. He has a lot of energy.
No, he's definitely.
But it's because he's so active, I mean, he does not sit still. So.
You know who introduced him at the film festival, because we watched it. If you haven't watched it, his life story. It's called Call Me Bill or something like that.
Right.
I've been meaning to watch that. Yeah,
it's really good. But guess who introduced him and had the whole talk with him before the film was Jason Alexander.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yours from Seinfeld.
Right.
Yeah, I have that on my social. I put a little clip together, and it was hilarious because Jason's mentor is Bill. And what was interesting was his 40th birthday party, the present to him was to bring William Shatner to the party. So he talked about that. And it was really great. It was so funny because he asked, questions about the film, and he asked him this one question of, did the Star Trek series live up to I'm talking about Star Trek, for y'all.
Oh no!
live up to what he had hoped his character would be. Like, did it do him proud? Did that really satisfy what he was trying to depict? And he went into this answer, and it did meander, and it went on for probably a good 5 minutes. And Jason says, I will give $1 million to the first person who can find the answer in what Bill just said.
That's awesome. That is good stuff.
Amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah, no. When it comes to Star Trek stars, yeah, I've heard most of their stories. I've gotten to meet many of them. Some great people.
Have you told them who my nephew is?
No. Well, because I haven't recently. See, I haven't been to a convention since COVID, so I haven't seen nobody.
So here's a little known fact. He's probably going to kill me. But Garrett Wang.
Yep.
Ensign Kim, right, from the Voyager. That's not his real name. So he was born Richard. And he blames me because I changed my name from Maria to Marissa when I started modeling.
Oh.
So it's my fault. And I keep telling him, Maria to Marissa is a little different than Richard to Garrett.
Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of is. Yeah, no, I didn't know that he had changed his name, but I did remember you mentioning that was your nephew. That's pretty impressive. I'm a fan. I really am. I kind of wish he had gotten a bigger role in the show. I felt he was the audience insert type of character. So the audience always wanted to root for him, always wanted him to, be a bigger role because we could see ourselves in him. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
But yeah. So anyway, good. And I want to also be sensitive to your time. I don't know how much time you have.
How long is your show usually?
I usually go for 2 hours, but you don't have to stay with me for 2 hours. It's entirely up to you. I would love to have you that long, but I didn't know what you had planned.
I will stay as long as I can.
Okay, that's fair.
I will put this particular link in that
okay.
people may be interested in. This is my gallery where my
the pictures and whatnot.
Yeah. Backstage with Kevin Costner and some people that you might, and just if you have any questions, a lot of people usually ask me, so what was it like interviewing Hallie or John Travolta?
Sure.
What are they like and people like that. So I am going to put that link.
And then if one of my blue wrenches, when she drops this, if you could just copy and paste it again to turn it into a hot link so people can just right click on it, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's at the top and you can scroll through the pictures. I'm not sure if there's an actual link for the photo gallery, but this is so weird because I'm doing this usually on my show, but not for the chat.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Here's is that not going to come? The failed to post?
That's happened to me a couple times today. That's a YouTube thing. Give it another try. Otherwise,
if you want, you can post it. If you want to paste it in private chat, I can put it on there for you.
I'll get it. That's okay.
Okay, yeah. Just go to red carpet at the top of drmarissa.life. It'll have the Asian Oprah. So for those of you who don't know, that is, if you Google Asian Oprah, I come up, and that is not because I call myself Asian Oprah, but I was actually introduced to Oprah as the Asian Oprah by my who is my big brother, the founder at Agape International Spiritual Center. If you ever watched The Secret or Oprah's Super Soul Sundays, you'll know the guy with the dreads. He is the founder and friend of Oprah's, and so that's how I got the nickname.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool. She actually looked at me, looked down, looked back, and said, "Nice pants."
Okay.
And it took everything for me not to say, "Do you want them?" And since I'm not under FCC rules here, I can say,
yeah.
my joke is that I didn't know if I was commando that day, so I couldn't give her the pants even if I wanted.
I haven't told her where I got them. I got them at
It's at night. I can say stupid shit stuff.
Absolutely.
Like that.
You can say whatever you want. Absolutely. That is so funny.
May I ask? Oh,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Were you going to ask? I was going to ask a question of our guest.
Go ahead.
Are people more sad these days, does it seem, or is it just, are they usually just equivalent sad all the time? But I don't know. I get the feeling the mood of the country right now, it's kind of in the down in the dumps, but that's just my own impression. That's all. I don't know if that's accurate.
Yeah, I think that COVID really, rightfully, a lot of loss in that. And also new habits. So habits of not bothering, or who cares, or I don't need to go out, or I don't want to go out, or let me be entertained and exercise. What's that? Or all of those kinds of habits are not easy to just turn around and let's go back to the way it was, because nothing really is the way it was. So I tried to drink the Kool-Aid and get you to drink the Kool-Aid of, it was a time for you to actually look at what is really important. The good news is a lot of people realize that they don't have to drive 2 hours to work, right? And, I can find an employer that does, things that can be done remotely, do things remotely. So that has really, changed in a good way. However, those who really like isolation have now gotten a little too comfortable with isolation. And, even though you think you can live on a desert island by yourself, we're social animals. That's just who we are. And when you are in isolation or solitary confinement, you go crazy. That's a well-documented thing. So the other thing that's happening is people, if they are aware that they are not happy, they are reaching too quickly for short-term fixes that have side effects. And I'm not a conspiracy theory person, but I have a lot of people warning me, Dr. Marissa, you should really be careful because people get killed if they speak against pharmaceuticals and blah, 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 blah. And again, I'm not against pharmaceutical companies. My daughter works for one. I think the cancer drugs, all the kinds of ways in which medical technology and medical science have helped with illness and longevity. All of that is amazing. However, the one area of pharmaceuticals that concerns me is the ones that are quick fixes to I'm not feeling good. And if I'm not feeling good, let me take something that makes me feel better. And then that's not addictive. That's bullshit-talky. There's not one thing that is not addictive. Anything that works for you will become addictive because it's something that works, right? It's something that makes you feel better. And so we've lost touch with 8%, 12% of the time you are not supposed to be happy. And here's, to answer Dr. Romega, here's my model of emotions. So if you are trying to cut out emotions that are, sadness, depression, anger, hostility, all of the negative, emotions, if you try to eliminate those and come to sea level, your emotions are like a dumb waiter door. So if you go up this way, your top emotions of exhilaration and joy and wonder and bliss and happiness and orgasmic, all of that high-flying stuff also comes down. So you cannot cut the bottom without cutting the top.
Yeah.
So what happens is, in an effort to not feel bad, okay, you do this. And so everybody's walking around going, I'm okay, which is a very, very small bandwidth of feelings, right? So, and if I hear one more person say, I'm fine, you know what fine stands for? Up, irrational, neurotic, and emotional. So I don't want you to be fine. I also don't want to be, I don't want you to go postal. No defense. No offense.
Anyone who works for the post office.
But, I'm all about balance. I'm all about, I want you to be, when you're mad, if someone steps on your toe, you say, ouch. If someone insults you, you say, if I look like you, I'd be miserable too. Just kidding. No, you can say that in your head.
Right.
But you say, ouch. You say, that didn't feel good. That wasn't nice. I'm not listening to that. And walk away. Okay? But then come back after you've calmed down. And Thich Nhat Hanh says it the best. If someone burns your house down, resist the urge to go to their house and burn their house down. Instead, turn around and put the fire out in your own house.
Right.
So that, to me, is a lost skill with social media, with people knee-jerk reactions. Everybody's doing a knee-jerk reaction, which means we've got a bunch of jerks walking around, typing, talking. It's just this. That's why I'm bringing back my 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa. If you want a good exercise to reset, for next year, first, if you're on my show with me every morning, what do we start with, Troy?
We start with our gratitudes, and then we do our affirmations.
Appreciation.
Thank you.
That's okay. It's taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. We have breakfast every morning to make sure that we're working that muscle of looking at the bright side, looking at the positive, pronoia, not paranoia, best case scenario, not worst case scenario.
Right.
Why do we do that? Law of attraction. What you pay attention to grows bigger. You want to have a shitty life? I can say that tonight.
Yes.
You want to have a shitty life? Keep complaining about all the shit in your life.
Yeah. See, and this is the key. You mentioned something about social media I wanted to comment on. I see it all the time. All the complaining people do, it's you people, you. And it's like, do you understand that you don't control anyone else but yourself? What's the saying? When you point, you got 4 other fingers pointing back at you. Look back at yourself. What can you do?
But that's not the norm.
No, it's not.
Everything around you is blame and shame. Blame and shame. Blame and shame.
But the happiest people are the ones that stop doing that. Look, and I've said this to Netter too. She'll sometimes get so focused like a dog with a bone. This problem, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, first, why does that bother you? In what way does that affect your life? Right? And number 2, to the extent that it does, what can you do? What can you do? Because only you can control you. Yeah. You can't control them.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the circle of concern, circle of influence? So if you just take a blank paper and you do a circle on it and you put everything that you care about inside the circle and everything you don't really give a flying fork through a rolling donut about outside of the circle. Okay? And you got that, Boomer.
Yeah.
I shared the clip with Troy. That I know who made that comment.
Yeah.
So if you look at what you care about inside, and then there's another circle called the circle of influence. How much influence do you really have on all the things that you care about? Do you really have an influence on all of Netter's happiness?
No.
Maybe some, but not all,
bit.
Right? Finances, same thing.
Right.
Because COVID showed us that. Your kids, same thing. Your job, same thing. Your parents, same thing. The only thing that you really truly have 100% control over is the buck stops right over you.
Yep.
So I'm the boss of me. I can choose.
He's being a smart ass. Technically, you only have 3 fingers pointing back at yourself. The other's a thumb and it's pointing down.
Oh, for the love of...
Yeah, goof.
I did want to say, though, I was reminded of that meme that has there are 4 different people on the meme, and one is a shouting guy, and it's supposed to be a baby boomer. The other is a shouting young person, it's a millennial. Then you have someone crying in one corner, and it's a Zoomer, and the Gen Xers just standing there with a drink, just kind of out of it.
Yeah, just like, well, okay, whatever, folks. Exactly.
Yeah. And there are group differences, and there are individual differences within the group difference.
Sure.
So I know that I like what you said about what you tell Netter, because a lot of the things that are put in front of you, my big brother calls it media is a weapon of mass distraction. So people will say, why don't you watch the news? I say, because the news is not always the truth, number one. 2, depending on the slant of the news, I put up this thing on my show, which is a chart of biased media outlets, right? So if you really want the truth, and we saw this during the pandemic, people were sharing stuff that wasn't even real. It was, created by some Russian. There were a lot of data around the Russian, trying to put stuff into circulation. It wasn't even true. Yeah. So this is where, when you say this is the truth, what is the truth? The truth is just a belief that you keep repeating. So you can find something to support your BS, your belief system, or you can choose what you put your attention on. The ch word is one of the most important words for life, because if you exercise your ability to choose what you're looking at, you can then choose what you talk about, choose what you focus on, choose what grows bigger, choose what you can ignore so that it becomes smaller.
Right.
And we think that people are making us crazy. We think that people are making us upset.
You give them that power.
You give them that power. You choose. Now, if someone insults me or says something stupid to me, I'm not George Costanza's father, because that's dangerous too.
Right.
Where serenity now, no matter what you say, serenity now. And then by the end of the show, $1 million worth of equipment is gone.
Right.
So we have to own our humanness. When I'm mad, I literally will count 16, 15, 14, 13, stamp on the ground, bite my pillow, silent scream, because I use my voice. I can't afford to scream out loud.
Sure.
So I get that negative energy out of my body, but I don't pretend that I'm not pissed. I also teach Tai Chi. This is a polishing table. If you see me doing this in the middle of the day, someone just pissed me off. And I use this form to wipe off their poop on my table, because I have the choice on how I'm going to react to it.
Yeah. Netter has and I this is one of the great things about a 30-plus year marriage. We almost become like a mirror for each other. She sees things in me that I don't consciously, and she'll point them out to me. And there was this one time where I was, I don't want to say I was in an argument, but I was having a discussion with someone. I was getting very animated and very loud. And they're like, calm down, Troy. You don't have to get mad. And without missing a beat, Netter jumped in and said, oh, he ain't mad. When he's loud, he's having fun. When he gets quiet, that's when you should be concerned. And I said, wow, she's right. I never thought about that before. That is absolutely true. And I don't get mad very often. She'll even tell you that. I do.
Looking at the chat. I see 2 things I want to comment on, because they're directed at. One is Dr. Omega. How do you find happiness in day-to-day life when it all seems so messed up out there? Great question. And then the second one was Jessie. She's actually asking you, I had a friend who made a lot of mistakes, which made me question why, and then I can't read the rest of that. So I don't know.
I had a friend who made a lot of mistakes, which made me question why. Yeah, Jesse, I feel like you were missing some context there. So was there something else you were about to say there that you didn't quite get out? let us know. But
let me go to Dr. Omega. So
yeah.
I have a lot of people, and I've had global thought leaders on my show, and Bishop Carlton just died last week from cancer, and he he's also a great example of changing your mind on your BS, your belief systems, and he gets a lot of hate. I just got a comment today saying it's nice to hear positive things about him for a change, which is, it's so horrible what people will say when people die.
Oh, yeah.
But so every day I have the choice to look at the news, which I say is a distraction, and all news, I'll bet money with you on this. Every single day, the top 3 stories are going to be one category, natural disaster, second category, government corruption, and third category, someone killed, raped, stole, something.
And if it bleeds, it leads.
Right.
And if it bleeds, it leads. So that news is true. They'll say, but Dr. Marissa, it's true. Yes, it's true. And it's also true that there are how many great organizations out there right now doing amazing things to shine light on areas like I just got to give a medal award at Special Olympics. The trafficking, that's a great movie that was just on. That was at the film festival, not just The Sound of Freedom, but there's another one that was the names. It was similar. It's the border trafficking that's going on. Yep. And she's a very popular actress. She was green in.
She played Gamora in. Yes.
Her husband is the director of that movie. Yep. That one you have to see. Age Boomer. Another one. There's so many good things that are happening on the planet right now that people are seeing tragedy. I got to be in the middle of the Seal Beach salon shooting, which was the worst Orange County massacre. And as a result of that horrific thing, one of he lost his wife in that. He went and tried to change legislation. So I'm not saying that it's good that tragedy happens, but that's what life is. Every one of us have gone through some crap so that we can work through it, come out the other side, and then help someone else who's going through that same thing. That's what life is. No one promised us a pain-free life. Life is about expansion. How does anything expand? Do you think a caterpillar likes being in that dark place all cramped up with the do you think a chick likes being in the egg and is almost suffocating from the poisonous, noxious poop, the fumes from their own poop? Do you think? Yeah. No, but that's what life is. Life is about expansion. It is about dying and then coming out of that. It's about alchemy. It's about chiseling. My favorite story is 2 rocks in a store. One is absolutely gorgeous. Everybody goes to the rock. Everybody says, "Oh my God, look at the beautiful colors, prisms, blah, blah, blah." So for years, this one on the right is just getting all this love. The one on the left, by itself, sits there, listens to this. Finally, after like 8 years, is pissed off, gets off its stand, shakes his little hand, and says, "Life, you are not fair. For 8 years, I've had to listen to this rock get all the love, and I get nothing." And the thunder, and then the clouds break open, and Life comes down, puts his arm around the rock, and says, "Darling, I love you, but every time I come near you to begin to chisel, you say, 'Stop, it hurts. I don't want to be me.'" Moral of the story.
Yeah.
You want to live without pain and never be all you can be.
Exactly.
You want to be chiseled so that you become the most glorious, one of a kind, wonderful that you're meant to be in life. That's
Absolutely.
what we're here for. Sorry.
Maria.
Bye.
Maria's going because she's got Zen stuff to do. But yeah, life is suffering. It's what you make of it. That's how we come out in time. The story. I mean, that's a great story. Not experience, but true story from nature. You had mentioned the butterfly. When a caterpillar goes into that chrysalis, right, and it begins to turn into a butterfly, okay, it is a struggle to get out. And that struggle is necessary. If you were to, in your human compassion, find a butterfly coming out of its chrysalis and help it by pulling it open and helping it,
can't fly.
It will never be able to fly, because it is the struggle of getting out of the chrysalis that pushes the fluids out of its wings so that they can dry and stiffen and he can fly.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is the struggle that's important.
Dr. Omega, I'm so glad you said this.
Yeah.
Aside from the rising cost of everything, the inhumanity I see on Twitter is growing numbers is very, very disturbing. Okay, first of all, I have to say, Orville, if you're not here, you're going to listen.
He's not here right now, yeah.
No, he's going to listen to this, which is why I'm not on Twitter. He's constantly yelling at me. I said, no, I don't want to be on Twitter anymore. I just don't like it, you know, for many reasons. But here we go. Dr. Omega, rising costs. Who said that things are not going to get more expensive? Commerce is commerce. Things are going to get expensive, and we're going to make more, and we are adjusting. And there are some things that we've paid less for our entire lives that are way more expensive in other parts of the world.
True.
That is the truth. Okay. But again, where are you focusing your attention? If you don't like what you see on Twitter, don't look at it. If you don't like what you see in wherever it is, don't look at it. Oh, but Dr. Marissa, that's like putting your head in the sand. And I close my eyes, don't get sand in my eyes. But you know what? I'd have to listen to the bull shiitake and all the crap if I have my head in the sand, because I don't want it. In the sand, I have the peace to create. I'm writing another book. I just finished a third film. I'm doing all these things because I have time to do it, because I'm not responding or complaining or getting mad at things that I have no control over. And if I'm going to get mad at it and call people and talk about it for an hour, that time is not money. Money you can make back. Time you do not get back. And if you don't remember anything else I say, I want you for tomorrow. I just want you to honestly look at how you spend your time. So how many minutes do you spend talking to someone and giving them advice that you tell them the same advice for the last 10 years? It doesn't help, but you still go in there. That's wasted time. That's your choice. How much ranting do you do on any platform? For what purpose? Will it really make a difference? So that's a little tough love. So I am saying to you, Dr. Omega, and anyone else who complains about the negativity that is out there, I'm not saying that it's not out there, use the muscle of choice to find something that isn't sucky. There's so much out there that is not sucky. I go down and I can see kids laughing. I can see dogs sniffing other dogs' butts and loving the interplay. I can see people helping other people. Yep. Everywhere I turn, I love watching birds in formation. I love knowing when I look at the sand that every single grain of sand is unlike the other. Same with the blade of grass, same with the drop of water. All the things that I could focus. There's so much out there on YouTube of nature. On TikTok, they've got a nice STEM thing that I flip through instead of having to listen to my friends rant about politics. So I go through that STEM and I learn something new every time. There's so much in life that is good. But where is your habit of focus? That's on you. That's
There
on
is-
you.
There is a common thing that a lot of people say about social media. They say social media is not real life. I agree, that's 100% true, but you can also use it as an analogy for real life. If we were having this conversation and we were in a real bar, with lots of music and sound and other people talking, that's like social media. You have to tune all that out and focus on the person you're talking to. When I'm using social media correctly, I am there interacting with Dr. Omega and Lady Mist and Deleted Scenes and Aged Boomer, and I'm ignoring all the randos out there that I don't know that are saying things that tick me off and then going engaging. That would be like if we were sitting in a pub and you heard someone say something about politics that you didn't like, and then you turn around and get into a fight with them. Why would you do that? But that's what so many people are, and I'll admit I find myself doing this on social media sometimes too, but I am aware of it, and when I realize what I'm doing, it's like, why am I doing this? I don't know this person. They're not connected to me or anybody that I am connected to. Why did I even engage? This is what you got to understand. It is a public space. Behave as such. Behave as you would with real people in real life. Not enough people are doing that these days.
Every topic has a positive end and a not so positive. Every topic. You can say social media, right? There's negative stuff about social media, and there's positive stuff. I got a message from someone that's been, connected and following me for a long time, and I didn't know who they are. They're just numbers, but she reached out, messaged. Now I am being considered for something pretty big, and that's all a result of social media. So I'm going to focus on what I like about social media. I'm not going to use Twitter as a relationships. There's good things about relationships and not so good things. Your job. There's good things about your job and not so good. Zoom. There's good things about it. So in every topic, you have the choice to focus on what makes you feel good about that thing or what makes you not feel good about that thing. Totally your choice.
Jesse got back to us. So when it came to my friend, he would often make the dumbest mistakes and I would always ask, why do such things? Example, whenever I told him not to do something, he would do it. It's one of those things. I as a friend, right? And this is I've been told that men do this more than women, but I'm sure that anybody can do this. If you're the right kind of mentality, you hear a problem or you see a problem, you want to solve the problem. And sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's what people need. Sometimes it's not. But if your instinct is to go to your friend and say, okay, don't do that anymore, they're going to resist. But, like I do to Aged Boomer, when he tells me, about something, Boomer, what did you learn? And then he's like,
Smart
and he knows the answer. He doesn't need me to give him the answer. I just say, Boomer, what did you learn? And then when he comes in, I thought we talked about this. What did you learn?
And I would say to Jesse too, if an interaction is driving you crazy and it's the same every time, I call that going to the tractor for milk. So if someone's gonna, that's just the best that they can do. And so it's up to you now to choose how do you want to spend more time telling him what not to do and then maybe what he wants to do and you pulling your hair out, or you're gonna choose to use your time maybe with someone who really does want your advice and does make a difference. So it's up to you.
Yeah. I don't know if this is good or bad, but it is what my mother did, and of course I have to respect my mother. She was the type who would, point out mistakes over and over and over again, and eventually she'd just start going, look, you do this all the time. Why are you complaining now? We've talked about this. You just keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Don't complain to me about it. It's going to keep happening. It's kind of her way of saying I told you so, but it's kind of right. You know, I can't argue with my mom on that when she's right, you know. But
I'm gonna give the 8-minute warning.
Okay.
My daughter and I have a date on Zoom.
Oh, that is a wonderful thing. Good. No, that is crucial and important. You should.
In San Francisco, so we get together.
How long a drive is that for you? You said you're doing it by Zoom.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, I just did that drive though last week for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But Agent Boomer, do you have a question for me? Because you've been a great.
Yeah, we were just kind of talking over him.
You know, I did have a question. Do celebrities handle the moods differently than, I guess, regular people, like being happy and sad? Do they have an added thing layered on with them? Like if you're famous, even if you're, the modern example might be you two famous. Is that something to take into consideration when dealing with how you react to things? I don't know. I don't know if that question makes any sense. Okay.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it really depends on how much work you've done on yourself. Okay. So, you know, the great thing, you know, Jason Alexander talked about how the mentoring from William Shatner really helped him so that he was not so, you know, out in the wind, you know, without an anchor when it came to when he became a household name more so than he was, and all that. I always found, you know, I used to be very hard on celebrities who would be so mad at the added attention, because it's like, hello, you chose to do this, and knowing that when you do this, you're gonna get the attention. So you really don't have a right to be that mad, because it all comes with part of it. But, you know, Corey Feldman, the interesting insight on that was I was told, you know, I was not allowed to ask him as the host to, can't ask about his emancipation, can't ask about the abuse, can't ask about his friend Corey, can't ask about this, that, and that. And he just wants to talk about his music. And I'm like, cool, I'm the easiest going host you will ever, and I get kudos for that, because people have been on a lot of other big hosts will say, you know, they really enjoyed probably the most, because I'm not out to get them. You know, that's not my purpose. My purpose is I want to get to know you, and I want you to know, you know, how great you are, right? In your own, not just as an actor, but in your own person. And he sat down, publicist was over here, and so did the introduction, did his introduction, and I looked at him and I said, you know, in preparing for the show, doing the research, man, you have lived some life. And he went, oh my God, you have no idea. And he started, and then when I was 6, and then we were at that 8, and I looked over at the publicist and I'm like, I didn't.
I'm not the one that put that moose on the table.
Exactly, which is my Canadian version of elephant in the room. So I take my terminology here. But I say that because, you know, I just, my heart went out to Halle Berry. Because Halle is a beautiful, just, you know, inside and out, her spirit, you know, how I felt speaking to her, and just like she was so, you know, and yet what I hear about her and what people say, that is so like mean and cruel and horrific. So, you know, our whole system sucks when it comes to what we do to people who are great actors. That's what their talent is. They're great actors. And when we begin to put that on a pedestal to the point where, you know, it's just so out of whack. They're actors, right? They're not perfect. They're not superhuman.
They're human beings.
They're human beings. We're all spiritual beings in a human body. You know, cut everybody some slack, including yourself. I mean, that is truly So if you have not worked, and this goes for anybody, you want to be a celebrity, A-list celebrity, B-list celebrity, people ask me, oh my God, you're a celebrity. I go, no, in my own mind, maybe. But if I haven't worked through who I am, and that's what's in the book, who am I really? Beyond what I do for you, beyond what I want to be known for, beyond all of that, inside, who am I? And how secure I am. I called it that the tool is called bake my own cake. If I get criticism or compliments, that's icing. But if I'm clear on who I am in the glory and the good, bad, and the ugly and the beautiful part of me, then yes, I can choose if I want to be happier. But if I don't have a solid understanding and acceptance of who I am out there with my antenna, who likes me, who's looking at me, who respects me, what are my numbers, who likes me literally numbers wise. Right. And it's a horrible way to live. So hopefully that answered your question.
Real quick, Samuel Proctor said, he's quoting me, "It's what my mother did, and of course I have to respect my mother, spoken like a true Italian." I would guess that's probably Chinese too. Am I right?
Yeah, I would say that they probably take it. My mom was very strict Chinese and then strict religious on top of it. Okay. So you will honor thy mother and thy father to the point where it got a little out of control. And if you get the book, you'll hear it. And I don't say that to disrespect my mother. No, I love my mother. She has Parkinson's. I talk to her every other 3 days because she has a tendency to still call me fat, and that will trigger me. Being called fat, ugly, and clumsy. My whole upbringing with her, and she does the best that she can, and that's just who she is, and she does it because she thinks that that's her job. So, but I also, again, your parents do the best they can. They're
human too.
They don't know any better if it was bad, and if you lucked out in the 3 out of 10 of us, or not me, but 3 out of 10 of you who had a really healthy childhood, that doesn't mean you're not going to go through some pain, and it doesn't mean you're not going to have a critic in your head telling you that you're not all that, and who do you think you are, and if you get 99 compliments and 1 insult, your mind goes to that insult. You could have a wonderful family life and still have that critic. So life is about putting that critic, even if you're a celebrity, in that passenger seat so it doesn't drive you over a cliff.
Absolutely.
You want what you call the foreman front and center, I take it, right?
Yes. Well, you're balance centered. I call it the balance centered you. So you have a balance centered you. Troy has a balance centered Troy. Troy also has a critic. I call him Troyella. And Troyella is always, criticizing Troy. And, we all have that. But the trick is not to kill the critic. Not, people say the bitch in the hat. And you got to kill the bitch in that. No, I'm doing a lot of swearing today. The beach in your head.
I'm a bad influence. I'm sorry, Dr. Marissa.
If I start swearing on Monday and get hit by FCC, it's all your fault. Yes, but So it is of tantamount importance for you to take responsibility for yourself, not in a negative, beat yourself up. We got plenty of that from our critic, but our ability to love ourselves and soothe ourselves and know we're not perfect, but we're pretty, I used to live on this swing. I'm a piece of shit. I'll say it straight. In the book, it's piece of shit talking. And I grew up with that. I was taught that, and it was nothing that happened to me as a child was my fault. The beatings, physical, emotional, none of it was my fault. However, I take responsibility for how I took that and dragged it into my present and spewed it onto my future. That's my responsibility. And that buck stops right there. That belongs. I worked through that. That's what you do with the book. You work through that. The exercises in there, of course, expressly for that purpose. Once you've worked through that, then you can begin to build a true understanding of who you really are. Because everybody has that black, and I'll close with this, otherwise I'm going to be here 2 hours.
Right?
Everybody has a black hole in front of them. I don't know one person who doesn't have this, oh, I don't want to go there. Because if I go down there, if I go look at that, I don't know, I'm going to be Humpty Dumpty, I'm going to fall and break in a million pieces, I'll never come back again. And that hole is the secret to choosing happiness. Because I guarantee if you do take the time, and it doesn't take 10 years of therapy, you know, I do happiness coaching. I'm purposely not a clinical therapist because I don't want to be tied to that, right? I have an 8-week process that will get you to, you know, what you don't deal with will deal with you. So we go down into that hole with a flashlight, and I hold your hand, and we look down there and see all the shit that's in there. And we begin to dig that shit out, and the BS belief system that once you fall in, there's no bottom, that's bullshit-talking. There's a bottom there, we'll get to the bottom, and at the very bottom is you, your seed, you're one of a kind, wonderful, and we'll polish it off, we'll take a look at it, right? We'll chisel some, you know, and then we take the shit that's all up now out there, and we put it back as fertilizer.
Yeah.
To grow. All of that has a purpose. All of the crap. If you can choose to believe that instead of looking for someone to blame and being angry at them for the rest of your life, you're going to have a joyride. You're going to, the sky's the limit. My theme for last year, we're going to continue, is go up. UP, unlimited possibilities. There's so much more than just going back to normal after COVID, right? Yeah. Hopefully, drank a little of my naturally high Kool-Aid today. I want to thank you, Troy, for having me on.
Thank you, Shay. I super appreciate it. You wanna take us out?
Thank you. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best weekend ever. Love to see you on Monday.
Take care. See you on Monday.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Man, that was awesome. Want to thank Dr. Marissa. You are absolutely wonderful. And guys, I super appreciate you being welcoming to Dr. Marissa. Yeah. I actually have been listening to her show every morning since PJ and Maria suggested it. Really great stuff. I mean, I've been going on and on about it. You guys all know this. So it would really encourage me if you guys would click that link below, subscribe to her. I told her at the beginning of the week, because every day on her show, she was saying, I'm going to be on with Troy on Friday on his channel. Go subscribe to his channel, blah, 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 blah. I said to her, at the time she was 1,900 and something. And I said, by the end of this week, we're going to have you over 2,000. And just this morning, after I, shared out about this stream, and Maria shared out about her stream and everything, and everyone's saying, go subscribe to Dr. Marissa. When she went live, we were both able to tell her, you just hit 2,000, just like I said you would. So anything we could do over that would just be gravy, and I'd super appreciate it. Real quick, I've been trying to highlight you all and give you guys a nod because I didn't want to stop the stream. But Deej says, I know who I am. I'm the demented pink bunny. He looks like a deranged Easter bunny.
Love that.
I love that movie. I'm going to have to watch that again this year. Not going to do another watch party of it, but I love Christmas Story. So you feeling a little bit more positive after hanging out with Dr. Marissa there, Age of Boomer?
Yeah, I think that's a lot of food for thought, what she gave us. As I said, we do sometimes get contentious in this sphere that you and I are in.
We really do.
But,
and there's a lot of talk about the negative channels and the so-called black pills and so on and so forth. And I cannot deny that there are channels that are built on rage and hate and, all that kind of stuff. And it's got to be taxing.
I think we'll be having more of that discussion next week about where we go from here, maybe.
Yeah. I was originally going to do specifically a Doctor Who stream next week. I think I'm going to broaden that a little bit.
It can be still the center of it, but we have other things to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, I think basically what some people are saying, we need to walk away. I've been hearing that said a lot this week.
Yeah, Dave Cullen had a great video about that.
So maybe we'll touch on that. Do we walk away? Where do we go now? Do we change
and it's
or something?
Honestly, it's gotten and a lot of people are even commenting on this. It's the comments that I'm seeing more often on social media now. The shills are still going, the right wingers or the is and the phobes are all, butt hurt and this and that, and we're all going, we don't even care anymore. We're done and gone.
Yes.
We really don't care anymore. And that's the problem. Good luck to you. That's why Disney is losing money on every single movie they put out. WDW Pro just had a panel with Valiant Renegade talking about the fact that, after, what was it, Strange World? The families were so put off by that when Wish came out, they're literally calling the theaters saying, is it safe for me to bring my kids to see this Disney film, this Disney cartoon? That is the brand they've made for themselves. That is a self-destructive model to have. And I'm not actually leaving, guys. I'm just going off camera for a second because, I didn't change my picture. I didn't change my picture from, everybody who was at Maria's stream earlier today knows what that was. Let me change that. That's my that was the character that I was playing in the
audio drama.
Yeah. Does that look a little more familiar? That one make a little bit more sense. Yeah. But I'm just going to, I got to take the earbud with me, though. I want to go get myself a drink. Guys, I know it seems off-brand, but I started drinking the Glenfiddich early tonight when I was on Maria's, and I can't anymore. I'm starting to get a headache, so I got to kind of got to move over to a soft drink.
Have a nice tab. I think that's what the mood calls for tonight.
I don't have a tab on tap.
What do you have?
I'm gonna have a cherry Coke.
Cherry Coke is good. I like cherry Coke.
Just because it's easily available. There we go.
It's like in the movie Death Wish 3 when he gets offered chicken. He says, "Chicken's good. I like chicken." Best line of dialogue. Best line of dialogue in movie histories.
I every year, Thanksgiving, right? I take the leftover chicken, whatever sides we have, the carrots and the celery and potatoes, throw them all in a pot with some stock and make a soup. And the great thing about soup is you can keep it on the stove, you boil it every day, it'll keep for as long as it takes for you to eat it, right? Yes. And what I've been doing is, there's not enough meat, so I'll go and I'll pull out some frozen chicken, chop it up, throw it in, boil it, and I just keep, chicken's good. Chicken is good.
Chicken's good.
But, yeah. And I do feel like, and I never mentioned this to Dr. Marissa, but I majored in psychology when I was at college.
Cool.
And, this concept of reframing, right? You get focused on your situation and you can engage the rational part of your brain and say, is this really what I believe it to be? Is this situation really hopeless? Is this really as bad as I think? Is this, you reframe it and you go, what can I do with the circumstance? Can I just walk away from this? Go do something else, not engage. You know, they talk about toxic people, not engaging with toxic people, you know, and you can take that to an extreme. I think a lot of people have been doing a lot of that since the 2019, right? Cutting out toxic people. But I think there are a lot of people that weren't toxic before that have allowed themselves to become toxic.
Yes.
And it's because there is a mental process that's happening to us through social media. It is programming us. It is programming us because we're not engaged. We're letting it happen. These algorithms that feed us, you know, what we click on, we end up in these cycles, and it's all we can see and it's all we can hear, and you believe these things and you never see the other side of it. This whole idea, and Dr. Marissa started on it, people sharing fake news, right? These memes and stuff that are BS. You know, when I was in school, we were taught, when you do research papers and all this kind of stuff, you cite your source, and then you check that source to see if it's a good source, right? If I cite a newspaper, not all newspapers were the same. If I cited, you know, the Wall Street Journal, that's maybe a good site if you're talking about finance. But if I cite the National Enquirer or the Sun or something like that, maybe not so much, right?
The Weekly World News.
Weekly World News, that's the one I was trying to think of. Bat Boy, right?
Yes.
You know? And
Bat Boy.
Yeah, I mean, I remember my grandmother used to read those things all the time, and it's like, you don't really believe this is real, right? This is like reading a comic book, you know, it's just, you know, but...
She said she would tell you the truth is out there. That was her response, right?
I don't think she ever really bought it either. She, you know...
Remember Men in Black, though? Those are the type
those were the...
They would read for the actual news, yes.
Well, because think about it. You know, in the narrative world of the Men in Black, they're going on the assumption that in this world, that was real news. Imagine if Bat Boy was real. Imagine if these people really were abducted by aliens. Imagine if, you know, the guy was replaced by a giant bug. You know, whatever. It's like, that would be a very interesting world, wouldn't it? Make for some pretty good stories.
Bug.
But yeah, and I feel like we have a whole generation of people that just accept certain narratives, are unwilling to, and you know, you want to talk science, that's the way science works, right? If you have somebody who puts out a theory, puts out a paper, says, I found cold fusion, great. Now I want every other lab to reproduce that study. Okay? If I can never be allowed to see the findings of those other studies, then I'm going to believe that cold fusion's a real thing. But when everyone comes back and says, I was unable to recreate what they did, I'm sorry, there's something wrong here. Even you can't reproduce it. I don't think you found cold fusion. That's how science works. You know, even Neil deGrasse Tyson, the, you know, genius of our age, has even commented on that.
Right.
And this is the problem. If you censor all the science that disagrees with your narrative, you're not hearing the truth, and that ain't science. Just saying.
He was on an episode of Stargate, wasn't he, as himself?
Was he?
I think he met.
It makes sense.
No, I think he met the scientist on one of those shows, and he was like, "Oh, your theories are ridiculous." Or like it was like a joke, like he was playing himself in like the Stargate universe.
Interesting.
But like him and Bill Nye, I think we're picking on the scientist on the show, thinking his stuff is ridiculous.
And Samuel Proctor's letting us know what he was sipping on. He was having a caramel shake. That actually sounds really, really good.
You know who made a good one? Cracker Barrel back in the day. They used to have milkshakes. You get a caramel milkshake there, and it was amazing. They don't have the milkshakes anymore. They cutting stuff off the menu there. I'm fine.
Did they make it like with real ice cream type of milkshake? Yeah, that's the way to do it.
They used to have caramel mug sundaes there too. You could also do, if you want to do a milkshake, you do a sundae. I used to get a caramel sundae, real vanilla bean ice cream, not the airy stuff, as Emeril Lagasse would complain about.
Yeah.
Like the kind you get at ice cream parlors, like the kind you get at other places.
Oh,
Restaurants are
absolutely.
usually pretty good with that. It's the store, the grocery store. Tillamook is a good brand, though. That's a good brand of ice cream if you're in a grocery store.
Yes, it absolutely is. And I don't know if it's nationwide, but if you're here in the Chicago area, Oberweis is a really good one too.
Overwise, okay.
Oberweis, yeah.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
What I used to like about Oberweis was you could go and you can get milk in the glass bottles, and you'd bring them back and get new ones. Yeah. I used to like that.
The good old days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've kind of gotten away from mostly just about anything with lactose. Lactose, when you're trying to cut out calories, you cut out sugar, and that means cutting out lactose. And now when I go back to lactose, I get that, because I've been without it for so long. So basically, the only thing that I eat with lactose in it anymore is cheese and occasionally ice cream, and I'm going to suffer with the ice cream. I really, really am.
Well, have an Italian Ice instead.
I got to find a good one. Because the only place that makes Italian lemonade that is really good is Mario's on Taylor Street here in Chicago, and I will not go down there anymore. I will not. And I have found nobody else that makes it like them. It's all like grocery store, there was a line in Goodfellas, the thing he missed about the life. He used to be able to go into any restaurant and order pasta marinara, and he got the best. Now he goes in and they give him egg noodles and ketchup. That's kind of what it's like. It's kind of what it's like trying to find a good Italian lemonade. Now, there is an Italian deli right in the next town.
Right.
They made the cannoli cake for when Netter and I renewed our vows.
Excellent.
They got great pastries there. They got all the cold cuts, the capicola, and the everything. They've even got a really good pasta fagioli on Fridays. Wednesdays.
Really?
Wednesdays. Yeah. It's really, really good.
I like that soup. That's a good soup.
But they... I never really thought about it. I guess it is a soup, isn't it? Yeah.
It's kind of like an Italian chili. That's sort of how I look at it.
Kind of, yeah. You're kind of right.
It has the beans. It's got meat in there. I mean, it's not like chili because it has more of a tomatoey. Well, chili has a tomatoey flavor too. I don't know. It's good.
And you sprinkle a little pecorino romano on there.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah. But I know they have Italian lemonade. I've never tried it. I really should. So I can at least rule it out and say, oh, here's another one that sucks, but we'll see.
It's interesting. I was in a Carrabba's one day, and I know that's a chain, but they sometimes serve flavored teas there, and one day they had an orange tea.
Okay.
I never heard of this. I've heard of like peach tea or, raspberry. Orange tea, I got it. It was amazing. And I remembered watching this Italian thriller movie called Don't Torture a Duckling. You like that title? Anyway.
Okay.
That'll be a whole nother good old day someday. I have to tell you about these Italian movies I like. But there's a scene where this young boy brings up a pitcher of something, it looked like orange juice, but I could tell it wasn't orange juice, to a sunbathing Barbara Boucher. And I realized that this must have been that orange tea is what I drank in the restaurant, is what they had in this movie. It must be something they have over in Italy. And it's very nice. If you ever get a chance.
Oh, I'll look into it. Absolutely.
You should ask me the guy. I wonder if the guy that runs that place that has the Italian lemonade knows what this thing is.
I can probably find out. I'll look into it.
It's like an orange drink, but they serve it in Italy. I'm just curious what it is. That's all. But anyway.
Sounds good. I just realized we're coming up on the last 15 minutes. We should probably start winding down. It was a great show.
It was a great show. I don't think we can top that anyway with our bantering, but.
But it's good. It's good to get caught up, though. That's the. So let's see. What do we got? We got tomorrow, and by all means, deleted scenes. Jump in and interject if I'm missing anything. Tomorrow night over on Big Al Presents, A Lion in Winter. Peter O'Toole and Katharine Hepburn, I think.
Yes.
That'll
good
be
way for this time of year, I think. Actually,
yeah, exactly. And then Sunday is the big day, right? Sunday, early in the day, I think it's like 3 o'clock. Deleted Scenes and Jedi Bill with the Western Cinema presents. Then at 7 Central, 8 Eastern, of course, Deleted Scenes with his Unscripted. Then 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern, on your channel, Geeky Geezers. We're going to have a lot of Disney stuff to talk about.
What else is new? Disney owns too much. That's part of the problem. If you ever ask, why do we bring up Disney on? Because they own
they own everything.
They own a lot of They own a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know for how much longer they'll be able to own all this stuff because I don't think they're making any money. But it's. Yeah, I just sent you another Disney article too about Taika Waititi about what he thought about working on the Thor movie. So that'll be worth talking about.
We'll talk about it. I honestly don't care what his opinion is, but it might be very insightful.
You're not going to like him anymore. Okay.
I haven't liked him for a long time.
And let's see. I'm trying to think if we have anything good to talk about on Sunday. I'm sure there's something good in there. And we'll be actually. I do have to send you a link to that the Rest in Peace, the memoriam article, because we're going to talk about some '70s children's shows.
Absolutely, Marty Krofft. Absolutely.
Marty Krofft. Yeah, we'll do a memoriam for him on Sunday.
And Unscripted is. I wish you had more time. Yeah, I think that the topic that Deleted Scenes is going to be talking about will be a good week. Bookend to the week, because we'll pick up on that topic a little bit next Friday. I'll get there in just a second.
Oh, that's funny. And yeah, we'll be talking about, he'll be on before my show. Go ahead and check out his channel. I'll have a link in the description on my channel as well. Other Side of Midnight.
Other Side of Midnight, always a great way to wind down at the end of Sunday night. 11 Central, midnight Eastern. I've often said it reminds me of the late night Sunday radio shows I used to listen to when I was a kid. Right around midnight, actually, they'd be low key and real relaxed. Sometimes it was a music based show. Sometimes it was just a chat show, but it was all smooth and mellow. Then that brings us to Tuesday, where we will once again be hanging out, you, me, Netter, and Deleted Scenes at Sparkwood and 21.
Big episode.
The season 1 finale of Twin Peaks. It's gonna be a big one. There's a lot there, so there's gonna be a lot to talk about. That's the finale.
Does it end with is a horse involved? Or am I thinking of a different show?
The horse, I don't think comes in until later. No.
All right. I seem to remember something about a horse. Okay, but that's later. All right.
And after that, after we've finished season 1, we're going to go into Laura Palmer's Secret Diary, where you will find out that Laura herself had owned a horse at one time. And do you know what the name of that horse was?
Seabiscuit.
I'll give you one more guess.
Troy.
Yup.
The horse's name is Troy.
The horse's name is Troy.
It was a sign for you to become a super fan.
Well, yeah. Well, I was like, if she wants to ride me.
I was going to make the joke, but oh well. I was going to say.
Oh, no. I had to take that one. Yeah. Jesse knew it. Probably got it before I said it because of the 30-second delay. But yeah, so that'll of course be Tuesday, Twin Peaks. Thursday things. I actually do not recall what Netter's got up on Thursday things, but I can very easily check. Netter's Network, Thursday things. It looks like oh, this is the one that I've been looking forward to. Well, I look forward to all of them, of course, but we are going to get caught up with Disney Sheepherder, and he's going to tell us about how his channel got bounced shortly after the last time he was on with Netter.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there's a bit of a story there. I know some of it, not all of it. We'll get all the details. It sounds like a very harrowing and interesting thing. He was bounced off of YouTube. He was bounced off of Twitter. And I was like, what happened to Disney Sheepherder? And I put out a message on Twitter to everybody saying, hey, does anyone know what happened to Disney Sheepherder? He's just gone. And I got a private message from Culture Casino. He's like, yeah, do you know what happened? I'm like, no, I'm trying to find out. He's like, crap. I said his YouTube channel is gone and his Twitter channel is gone. I said, and all of the history of our communication is gone.
Weird.
And it was, I don't know, maybe about a week later or so, he got everything back. And I know that there's a great story about, and it involves Doomcock. We'll talk about that on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on Thursday. Doomcock, who just started following me, as a matter of fact.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I mean, for him, sympathies, but it was his choice. That's Thursday. Next Friday, don't have the stream up yet because I haven't made the thumbnail yet. I'm trying to think of a catchy title, but originally I was going to do a little bit of a Doctor Who rant, and we still probably will do a little Doctor Who rant, but we're gonna talk, like you said, about maybe it's just time to walk away from some of these franchises and just enjoy what they were and be done with them. Deleted Scenes had talked a while back about doing that with Star Wars, and I did that with Doctor Who some time ago. I did give Jodie Whittaker a chance, but it was very clear this was no longer following the canon of Doctor Who anymore. So somebody on Twitter made a great point saying that really, in your headcanon, you should just assume that it ended with Matt Smith. He didn't get any more regenerations. He died at Trenzalore, and that was it. And I'm like, yeah, it sucks, but yeah, that's probably the way the Doctor should have ended. That's how we had all planned it. But anyway, we'll talk about that more on Friday. And that brings us around to Saturday. I don't want to the following Saturday, a week from tomorrow. I don't want to commit Netter to what she's watching because it may change. I think she may have announced one, but she's getting ready to do a celebration of 300 subscribers. So she's going to be doing in the near future. Don't know if it's a week from tomorrow or not. A rewatch of the 300. So I don't know if that's coming up next or later on, but something to look forward to.
Cool.
And that is the week and a day in review. Anything I missed? Deleted Scenes or Age of Boomer or really anybody?
So tomorrow is Lion in Winter, and then it brings us up to next Friday.
Yep.
So yeah, full packed week.
Yep. You got anything big coming up in the next week yourself, Age of Boomer?
No, just Geeky Geezers, and I'll be on with you guys on Tuesday. For
you enjoying that?
I am. I'll say this: Twin Peaks will be one of these television series that is truly timeless. Like, even as much as I love the X-Files, it did kind of jump the shark.
Yeah.
Especially after they moved to L.A. I'm not going to say all the episodes are bad. They weren't, and the acting, it was always top-notch. But I felt at some point the show really needed to end, and I feel the network kept it on way past when it was supposed to. Because I think Chris Carter originally wanted to just transition into movies, which I think would have been the better call, because I really liked that first X-Files movie. I like the second one, too, but... Yeah.
Yeah, see, and Dr. Omega, that's why you should be watching it with us on Tuesdays. This is exactly the jumping on point for a lot of people to get caught up on Twin Peaks and enjoy it with people that, know where it's going and can be your guide to that sleepy little northwestern town with a lot of secrets. It's a lot of fun. One of the things I said going into it was that a lot of the shows that you love since Twin Peaks were inspired by Twin Peaks. Yes. If you were an X-Files fan, if you were a Fringe fan, if you were a Lost fan, a lot of television and some movies and even some video games have been very, very influenced by Twin Peaks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll go into that at some point, yeah.
Absolutely. And so, like I said, after the season finale of and it's only been 7 episodes. The first season was very, very, very short. After this week, we'll be going into Laura Palmer's Secret Diary, and I'm almost certain you haven't read that.
No, I have not. So
that's
be
fine.
Interesting.
That's fine. I'm putting together videos that we can share on Cosme, just like we would the episodes, except it's the audio of the. It's actually Cheryl Lee reading Laura Palmer's diary, so it's in her voice.
Cool.
And that will do it then.
That will do it. And looks like we're almost at the midnight hour. But.
Well, midnight for you. I still got another hour.
Well, that's good for you.
Future boy.
I'm telling you, December 2nd. Well, we're not in March, right? It's not the Ides of March, right?
Yeah, but for you Catholics, this was the first day of Advent.
That's right.
Did you light your candles or whatever the thing is you do?
They'll do it at church, probably. I used to have to do that as an altar boy when I was
did too.
Yes,
I did too.
You have those memories as well.
Heck, I remember in grade school, because Catholic grade school, we had a craft that we did where we would take egg cartons. We'd take, four adjacent eggs.
Right.
You'd put clay at the bottom. You'd put 2 purple and a pink birthday candle into them. You decorate it with like holly around it, and you made your own personal Advent candle.
Oh, I swear, it's almost like there's a memory of doing something like that or something similar, but I don't. It's too fuzzy.
It's a fuzzy memory, huh? Yeah,
It may not involve egg carton, but I wonder if we did something similar.
Something like that.
Or maybe it was some other Christmas candle thing we did. It might not even have been. It might have been in public school. I don't remember. I'm getting a weird flashback to something to do with candles.
You went to a Jewish school, didn't you? You made little menorahs.
No. Actually, it was funny, though. I did attend a birthday party with a Jewish kid in class, and we were given dreidels as a party favor. And I remember I thought the dreidel, whatever I got, I thought it was like the coolest thing in the world. And
it is kind of neat. It's like a top.
I didn't know how it worked or anything, and I got mad because I lost it too, and that sucked. Oh. It was a neat green color. I really liked it. I don't know why I was drawn to this thing, but
if you want another one cheap, you just go to Party City. They got them at the Party Favors.
I'm sure they do. I'm saying as a kid. I don't know. Maybe I should re-examine it. Maybe I'd be fascinated.
I actually have dreidel ornaments for my Christmas tree.
Maybe
and little menorahs. Why? Just 'cause I wanted them.
Well, you know what? Jesus was Jewish, wasn't he?
That's right, he was.
Wrong with that.
It's absolutely true. If you think about it, Jesus would have celebrated Hanukkah.
He would have celebrated these holidays, yes. So, yeah.
Absolutely. All righty.
All right, but I guess it's time.
Yeah. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. We don't have Netter to close us out, but that doesn't mean that we don't appreciate you so much. You guys have been here hanging out with us. You were awesome interacting with my guests tonight. You really encouraged her. You always encourage me. You guys are a great community, and this is what I'm always telling people. PJ started it with Together We Grow, but you guys have made it happen, and I super appreciate it. I'm at 711 subscribers, which is great. Technically, that would be enough to get me monetized if I could get the watch time. So feel free to go back and watch some of my old videos if you want to help me get monetized. But if otherwise, remember, the link's below if you want to buy me a drink and request a song. I haven't been pushing that because I've been wanting to focus on my guests. But, just saying. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun. And, hope to catch you on the next one. Take care, everyone.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, sir.
Hit it, sweetheart.